I want to get out of here today, and it's tempting not to talk at all, but when so many things are said that are misleading, from time to time you got to respond to a couple of them. One of the ones I'm going to respond is this idea that making a small adjustment to the earned income tax credit is somehow unfair to the poor or a horrible thing to do.
The gallery will come to order.
Oh, wait a second.
Our guests in the gallery will obey the rules that were provided to them by the law enforcement and by the sergeant's office. The senator from the 20th has the floor.
Okay, talk a little bit about the earned income tax credit.
Our guests in the gallery will come to order, and the senator from the 20th has the floor.
Well, hope she's escorted out. Talk a little bit about the earned income tax credit.
Yep.
The earned income tax credit is largely a refundable credit. About 77% of the earned income tax credit does not offset income taxes that working people pay, but is something you get that you don't work for. In other words, it's the equivalent of a welfare check. When looking at the earned income credit,
our guests in the gallery are welcome to be our guests, but they will observe the rules that were provided them by the Senate sergeant's staff. And the floor is being held right now by the senator from the 20th.
Some states have an earned income tax credit. Some states don't have an earned income tax credit. 27 states have no earned income tax credit at all. When we are done with this budget, and this budget passes today, families with 3 children will have an earned income tax credit equal to 34% of the federal credit. Now, Minnesota calculates their credit a little bit differently, so I can't figure out exactly what it is compared to Minnesota. And District of Columbia has a higher credit. But the 48 other states, you know how many other 40 states have a credit as high as Wisconsin's credit's going to be when we're done here today? None. We're going to have the highest credit in the country for families with 3 or more children. We are going to retain the old credit for a family with 1 child, which is a credit that 27 other states don't even have. Now, this is a compromise document. I would have liked to get rid of the earned income tax credit even more. The thing I don't like about the earned income tax credit is there's a huge marriage penalty associated with the earned income tax credit. It's one of many programs the state of Wisconsin offers that if a mother marries the father of her child, she's much less likely to have it. So for people who want to break up families, perhaps the earned income tax credit, a much higher earned income tax credit, is the way to go. But mostly, what we have to remember here today is that the earned income tax credit, most of it is a refundable credit. It is not something that offsets tax you would pay. It is the equivalent of a welfare check. And we are leaving that credit the highest in the country among the 49 states that would calculate it like Wisconsin. So this is not a draconian thing, and it's, quite frankly, a little bit offensive to say what we're doing here today is a sign of not Wisconsin values. The only way the high income credit is a sign of Wisconsin values is, I don't know, if you want to promote single motherhood.
Senator from the 25th. Senator from the 25th.